Hey guys, hey everyone, welcome to another episode of You Are Not Ordinary podcast. Happy new week, happy Monday. Oh my god, the days are really flying so quick, and I hope you all are trying each and every day to live your life in full capacity despite any surrounding circumstances. You have to remember life is beautiful, life is short, and it's up to you to find the beauty in it. Okay? And yeah, so on today's episode, I want us to unpack about the beauty of expressing our emotions, quote unquote communication as the main factor, yeah? And first of all, I'll start by defining emotions. What are emotions? We all go through emotions, we all have emotions, and emotions are natural neurological reactions to situations, yeah? And they can be both negative and positive, right? So you have to remember your emotions or your feelings are natural and they're part of life. And that's why it's always said that your feelings are valid, because it's something we can't control. It's something we all have. We can control, yeah, but it's something we all have, yeah? And emotions unlock a true sense of depth and authenticity of who we are as humans. And that's why it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel overly joyed. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to feel lonely. Never feel less of a person for showing your emotions. They only make us human, right? And if you're a man listening to this episode, this is for you. Your feelings matter too. Stop suppressing or bottling your emotions. It doesn't make you man enough when you do that, as society has made it seem like you're allowed to be vulnerable, you're allowed to operate from a point of vulnerability, yeah. You're allowed to cry, you're allowed to feel. Stop succumbing to the society way of saying that if you're not strong, if you cry, you're not a man. Gone are those days that this was the criteria to prove manhood. And that's why on today's episode, I just want to emphasize on the importance of letting your feelings out. Because bottling our emotions can be unhealthy for both our bodies, our mind, our relationships, and even all our connections, right? Our emotions create a certain profound understanding of who we are as ourselves and our interconnectedness with the world. So let me ask you a question. How many times have you had a conflict or misunderstanding with someone, and you maybe went at each other so bad until later on maybe you both decided to each tell your point of view, like you communicate, right? Then you realize that the whole conflict was just unnecessary, that if only you had chosen communication as the first medium, as the first resolution, you wouldn't be where you were. And I do understand and acknowledge that we are all humans and our first reactions may not always be the best, because maybe you angrily overreacted, or that was just how you felt at that point, right? And it just lashed out as your first response. And it's okay. It's okay. It only makes you human. But it's also not okay in the sense of when you do that, you hurt the people you love in the process. We often say harmful things that maybe we didn't mean to say. We cause damage, be it be of property. Those people who have like anger issues and damaging stuff and stuff like that, you cause lots of damage. And we let our emotions take the best part of us and control us. But in real sense, we do have the power to control our emotions. And that's by only being intentional about putting in self-work. You put in work to find your self-awareness. You learn and unlearn your triggers. You find alternative ways of dealing with situations, etc. And the reason why I chose to talk about this is because I've been in situations where I never gave room for dialogue, and if I did, some things could not have turned out the way they did. Or I've been in situations where I should have spoken, but I chose to be quiet, I'm also a keen observer, and I love listening to people and studying people a lot, and not in the corny way or the nosy way of being in their business. No, I love studying people's behavior and linking it to the roots of all that shenanigan. Don't mind me. But one thing I learned in this life is to see beyond people's words and actions, because it is in the unsaid that a lot is said. I hope that makes sense. Like, you see beyond just the words, you learn a lot about people. And when I do that, I normally see some situations and I'm like, that could have been avoided if only this person communicated, or this person gave room for dialogue and stuff like that. Anyway, as I was saying, the reason why this aspect is important to me is also based on the fact that being in a relationship, it plays a big part. We all say that we're not angels for sure, and we don't know what's in someone's mind, or neither is it written in their forehead, right? So the only way to get inside the other person's world is by communication, by speaking out your emotions, by speaking out how you feel, because, for instance, if I do something continuously and the other person doesn't like it, it's only fair that the other person communicates it to me and express it how they feel, so that adjustments can be made. But if they don't communicate, they just keep maybe piling anger, piling frustrations, or whatever feelings they have going on because of the thing that I'm doing. And that will only create resentment towards each other, because other feelings are now in play, right? And you wonder why some people, like maybe in a relationship, for example, you find people have been together for years and years, but they suddenly call it quits. I'm not saying that this is the only contributing factor, but some things could have been avoided the first time if only the matter was addressed then. Because maybe by the time you want to talk about a certain thing, they can't, because there's now this big gap that has been created over time and has continuously kept growing. All the time something was left unresolved, right? Communication is such a solid ground to everything, But anyway, what I'm just trying to say in this whole episode, there is no feelings without emotions, right? And we all go through emotions, and we all are allowed to feel how we feel. But you have to communicate how you feel, because there's so many things that could have been resolved if you only chose to communicate, like for that instance I've given of a relationship. If you don't communicate, if you don't say how you feel about maybe a certain something, you end up growing apart with the person, right? And that's why I call this episode the beauty of expressing our emotions or our feelings. I read about emotions and feelings, and they were saying there's no feelings without emotions. The emotions create feeling. That was very fun. Interesting, because you might have anger as the emotions, and the feelings that follow after that are maybe hate, because you feel angry at this person, so you hate them. You feel disgusted, you feel bitterness and tarara, But just imagine how many relationships, how many friendships, how many connections would you have saved if only you decided to communicate, right? Maybe there's someone who did you dirty or wrong and you were too scared to speak up for yourself. What if you communicated? How many situations passed you by where the only thing that held you back from maybe being chosen or getting a certain level or even getting a certain opportunity, but you let the opportunity pass because you are scared of communicating? You know what I'm trying to say? So let your voice be heard. Let your heart be heard. Let your opinion be heard. Let's come together and talk over disagreements or any misunderstanding, because there's no evidence or study that has said that there's no power in communication. Everything goes back to power of our words, power of our voice, power of communication. And to add on mine, there's beauty in letting your emotions out. This topic of communications, emotions, and whatnot is really broad because we humans, we use the power of voice, and it's gonna be different in different settings, right? Like how I talk to a toddler is different to how I'm gonna talk to a teenager. It's different to how I'm gonna talk to a friend. It's different to how I'm gonna talk to a partner. It's always different how we communicate everywhere, right? But there's fundamentals, and we are blessed and lucky to be in an era where every information is out there, right? So my message today is, if you're struggling to communicate, seek help, read books, listen to self-help talks, be intentional with your growth and your self-work. We are always and ever evolving, and we will never stop learning and growing and outgrowing things. So be a sponge to life, be a sponge to life in a way that you're ready to change, you're ready to learn and unlearn, and always remember it's okay to communicate, because there's situations that you could have saved only if you communicated. There's misunderstandings you could have avoided only if you step back and communicate. All right. And yeah, with that, I'll come to the end of my episode. I hope I didn't talk much, and if I did, I hope you get a thing or two from my yapping, and let's communicate, guys. Let our emotions be known. Let our feelings be known. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say how you're feeling, but you have to know how you say, because they say sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So be mindful, right? And yeah, I hope if you really have a issue with communication, try seeking help, trying learning and unlearning things that you do that you don't like or other people have spotted in you. And yeah, we are ever growing human beings, so don't feel wrong for being in the growth process, right? And yeah, I hope you all have a beautiful blessed week. I hope you communicate. I hope you let your emotions be known, let your feelings be known, and remember, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So have a blessed week. And again, I just want to thank you. I want to thank everyone who's always constantly listening to my episode, and I hope it blesses you. So yeah, have a blessed, beautiful week, guys.